What's up, guys? It's Greg. So, I wanted to give you guys the game plan strategy for tomorrow. All right. So, I thought the text was going to be too long, so I figured I'd write a video and we start talking a little bit about what's going to be the game plan for tomorrow. All right. So, a couple things. You guys know that team we're playing tomorrow. They're that team that has number 10, that Asian dude that just keeps shooting and never misses. And then we got that number 77 that he can pretty much do everything. So one thing, thinking about the game strategy, I said to myself, we might not be able to contain number 77, but if we could limit number 10, we can give ourselves a better chance from a scoring standpoint to stay in the game. Because the name of the game is trying to eliminate threes as much as possible. So, for the past couple of weeks, for the past couple of games, there's something I need to address real quick before I go into the strategies, right? So, I noticed that we've lost faith in our zone defense. What ends up happening is the moment we get hit with a couple threes and, guys start scoring, we all of a sudden everybody's looking at each other, so we need to go man, okay? I'm not saying sometimes we don't need to go man, but you cannot always abandon a strategy when we know that's really taking us where we need to be. Don't forget the history of this team, right? And this is our fourth season. Two seasons out of three, we won the championship, and the last season we went flawless. And guess what got us there? It's our zone 3-2 defense. 2-3 is good, 3-2 is good, but our zone defense got us there. And now we're willing to abandon it because, we get a little bit frazzled. We got to understand basketball is a game of runs. So guys are going to get buckets. Guys are going to try to get there. But what happens is when we go to man, which we don't play often, we end up getting lost. We're not switching. And especially if it's a team is switching constantly, we get lost and there's always an open man. And that's the difficulty with man is if guys switch, they move the ball a lot, they will find an open man, okay? So at least in the zone, if you are staying where you need to be, your focus and your head is in the game and we're talking to each other, we'll have every area of the ball covered. Every area of the court is going to be covered. If we want to play wide with the 2-3, we're going to cover all corners for like corner threes and top threes. If we play the 3-2, we can clog the paint a little bit more, and we will probably won't allow as much shots to be taken over. But the thing is, the most important thing is, I don't want us every time we start getting a bunch of scores to panic and say we need to go man. Here's the deal, man, we need to use it. I'm not going to disagree with anybody that wants to use man. But the thing with man is we need to be strategic with it, okay? So we start with our zone. We are going to get hit with a few runs, but I don't want us to start screaming man, because here's another thing with man. Our big guys, Miguel, Jason, what happens is when we play man, sometimes they switch on smaller guys and they take these guys completely out the rebound game, and we're left with a liability on rebounds, right? We with the 3-2 defense, we at least guarantee that our guys are going to be under the basket, and it gives us the most potential for rebounds. That's number one. But if we do our jobs properly, if we're playing the zone and we make it difficult, guys, to make shots, well, guess what? These rebounds are going to be available to us. So, if you look at college ball, the majority they play zone. This is at best high school ball. This is not NBA, so I don't want us to start panicking, when we see things are not going our way. We got to stick to what we know. It's a game of runs. Guys are going to get buckets. But at the end of the day, if we continue to put our head in the game, we continue to communicate and we're aggressive, we get in the man in front of us and we keep talking, I believe that we're going to make it happen. I mean, I've seen that defense, that 3-2 we've had, be so suffocating, guys don't even know what to do because, we're all over the place. But it's going to require for us our head to be in the game and not to lose faith in the man. I'm sorry, not to lose faith in the zone, because every time, if we're discouraged every time, we're not going to put the same energy. I want everybody's commitment that if we're going to go zone, Everybody's committed. Doesn't matter how many buckets to get in a row. We just need to continue to focus. We will make adjustments as we go. I can promise that. But I want us to continue to focus, right? You know, when you do something, focus on it and be good at one thing. We can't keep switching things all the time. Anyways, that's enough for my spiel. That's all I wanted to say really about the state of the team when it comes to defense. I just want to make sure we were focused and we go back to basics, to what makes us great, to what makes us the best defensive team in the league. So we're going to stick to that. So here's the game plan for tomorrow. So I'm going to talk two parts: defense strategy, offense strategy. So let's start probably with the most important one, which is the defense strategy. So you guys know there's two guys there. Number 10, the guy that keeps shooting. Number 77, he's an all-around player. This guy's a little stronger. He could drive, he could post, he could shoot the three. So that's going to be a hard guy to stop. But the number 10, I've rarely seen him make a layup. So he's a shooter. He keeps moving. So the strategy of the game is we're going to start the game with the box 1 on number 10. Okay? So that assignment is going to go to Matt. Okay? So basically, when we start at the top of the key, we're going to have EJ and Jamar. And then at the bottom, we're going to have Jason and Miguel in a box. Okay? So what's going to happen is number 10 is going to keep roaming around, and we're going to allow Matt to kind of follow this guy around. Now, here's the deal. We're going to put a box 1, but we're going to be smart. We're going to switch on the box 1. So, example, Matt basically is swinging from one side to the next following this guy, but then somehow some guy picks him. If Matt senses he's unable to pick up this guy to cover the 3, he's going to be calling a switch with the player that is the closest to that guy. So let's say he's swinging to his left and EJ's on that box, that top left corner. If there's a pick that happens and he's not going to be able to recover because the guy is over on EJ's side, he needs to call EJ switch. So EJ, you're going to switch over to number 10, and basically Matt picks up the top left corner of the box. So it's going to go for anybody, whether it's Jason, Miguel, whatever. You're going to go and try to cover. But the important thing is to cover the 3. If he beats us and he scores a 2, we're going to live with it. We're going to play a stat game against these guys. We're going to limit the 3s as much as possible. It's going to keep us in the game. I guarantee you guys this. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start a box 1 with a switch. So anytime Matt calls a switch, we're going to switch. And then if he's unable to score, it's Matt's job to get back to switching and get back on number 10. And so the idea is he needs to feel uncomfortable so he doesn't have to take the 3s as much as he can. So that is how we're going to come out the box. No pun intended. Okay. And the reason why is I want to come out with the tone of the game. We're going to show these guys, we know how you guys play. We know who's scoring what. And what's going to happen is it's going to leave number 77 open to kind of do what he wants to do with less bodies at the top. But guess what? For number 77, the guys that are in the box, so you're going to be a hybrid situation. So if number 77 gets the ball, I want you, if you're in front of him, to play him man. Now, if he ends up switching and he goes, the next guy picks him up. But I don't want you to just think, number 77 gets that ball, I need you to be up on him. If he's at the 3 line, you're at the 3 line. If he's posting you up, you're playing him. If he somehow gets a pick and he switches, don't bite, keep letting him go. But you got to understand, is he getting free to shoot or is he trying to get by so you could trust the guy that's coming behind you? So these are some of the things we're going to have to do. I understand it's going to leave us a little bit vulnerable in some areas, but this I can assure you seems to be the strategy I know that's going to work. We limit number 10. If we can do that, 77, he's going to have to score 30 points in that game, 40 points to be able to win. And I know he's not going to be able to do that on us. So we just need to make sure when this guy has the ball and he's on your side of the court, you're playing it high and you're being careful, okay? So These are basically the defensive strategies I want to talk about. One last thing for defense strategy. I want to say hands up at all times, right? So a couple times guys are playing and we know they're shooters and we don't have a hand up. So I'm not saying it's going to do anything, but a hand up is a hand up. So we got to play with our hands up. So if we could do that, at least, we can minimize, at least you could make the guy second guess, but hands up, right? The next thing we're going to do is boxing out, okay? So one of the things glaring from our last few games, I noticed that our box out hasn't exactly been the best, especially when we played that team the other day. These guys are all average like 5'6", 5'7", but they were getting offensive rebounds and stuff like that. And we all should take responsibility on this. A couple of guys got rebounds on me that I should take responsibility on. And I think it's because we're just focused on the ball. We're not focusing on the man. So it's important, especially against that team. If that ball goes up, instead of just looking to see where that ball is going to go, you need to find a man that's closest to you and box him out. That's everybody's responsibility, including the shooter. We need to find a way to box these guys out so we can get rebounds. This game is going to really be one on the defensive end. We make sure we out-rebound that team, and we make sure we limit the threes, and that will give us what we need, all right? So that's kind of from a defensive strategy. Now, on offense, we don't have a set offensive play, but we know that what's going to happen is typically Jamar is going to start running the plays. Everything is about pace, right? We play that slow pace, churn and burn type of offense. We kind of move up a little bit, we get ourselves set up, and then we start basically getting into some ball movements, and we starting to do some other things, shooting threes, try to set picks, but important thing, ball movement. So to get back on offense, a couple things I'm looking for. Don't. Let's not, once we get a rebound, run up the court and shoot threes and leave everybody behind. That, we need to eliminate that in the game, because the problem we end up having is we always get beat on transition buckets. When you run up and down the court like that and your guys are behind and these other teams are already there, they took their rebound, well, nobody's set on defense because everybody's trying to run up on offense. So then it creates opportunities to have fast breaks that we're going to lose. And then it discourages everybody. So I need that to be limited. If you go up, you need to slow the pace down. We don't want running up and shooting the three. I mean, obviously, if we're closing the quarter or closing the half of the game and we need to do that, that's another thing. But I'm talking about during the course of the game, you get a fast break. Unless you have a clear path to the basket, you need to slow it down. Bring the guys back up. Pass the ball. Use the minutes. Have these guys use their legs. That's what we're going to need to do if we're going to win this game, okay? Another thing on offense, we need to minimize the turnovers, obviously. Short passes. Let's not take too many risks. We know Jason is tall, so Jason, you're going to have to move up on top of the key a little bit more so you can get that ball in the middle, and that gives you an opportunity to decide if the guy that passes you the ball, is he going to cut so you can dish out to this guy? Are you going to fake the dish, push it to the guy in the corner for a three? Or if you're just going to spin around and take that bucket right on top. So these are some of the decisions you're going to have to make. And then we need to start using also our pick and roll. I mean, the last time we started to purposely use the pick and roll with purpose, we made some magic happen. So we need to get back to some of these stuff. Get a high pick and roll and then get the ball moving. You got guys to shoot the threes. You got guys to drive. We got to keep cutting, but more importantly, move the ball. Most guys have to touch the ball when we get an offense so that we could get some free space to operate. So, and then last thing is, we got to box out, even if we're an offense. We got to find a way to box out. So anyways, I know it's a long tape, but I wanted to make sure I gave everybody kind of the tail of the tape. This is what we're trying to do. I want everybody to focus. Game's at 10 tomorrow, so getting in a little early. We could chat a little bit more about this, get to warm up and stretch. We just want to make sure everybody's ready. It's revenge, baby. Esketit.